What's going on, people? What's really good? It's your boy Marvlat, and this is the Nerds in the Hood. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope your evening is going well. Hope your day's going smooth and all that good stuff. Hope you had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. TikTok is back. Just finished watching NFL playoffs. You know what I'm saying? It was good, some good action. And I got to see this new movie called Back in Action, which also stars Jamie Foxx, Andrew Scott, Cameron Diaz, Glenn Close, among others. And I just wanted to talk about that with y'all because it's like one of the top movies on Netflix right now. There's always going to be, it's an ever-changing top movies, top TV shows, whether it's a new movie or old movie or new TV show, old TV show, yada, yada, yada. But I just try to keep tabs on what's hot right now because I know that American Primeval is also hot. I got to check that out. That's going to be another review coming up soon. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. This is a very interesting film because it was getting dogged out in the reviews. A lot of people was really like slamming it. They was like calling it trash, stale writing, bad directing, stuff of that nature. I actually do want to address that. So, first off, you already know the vibes. Spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen this film, go watch it. Come back and watch this video. So, this film is basically about Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz. They are two very well trained spies, very good at what they do. They are partner spies. They always go undercover and treat it as if they are a dating couple. And I guess, they got in too deep in their jobs, had a real relationship, and Cameron Diaz's character got pregnant. They are known as just simply Matt and Emily. They didn't really have last names. But anyway, she actually gets pregnant with a child, and he decides that they should just settle down because while they were thinking about the whole pregnancy thing, they got attacked on the job by some goons who were trying to steal some very valuable information that they had the task of protecting. So they realized, because they had a near-death experience on a plane crash, that they should just settle down, retire, go into hiding, make the world think they passed away, and focus on just being good parents to their children, so their children don't get caught up in all the mess of being spies. During that time, however, they get caught in a club after looking for their daughter, and they decide to beat up some goons who were like just being idiots to them and their kid. And then they get caught on YouTube, and now the world knows they're alive, and they get chased by the same bad guys because it turns out they had the same priceless information for 15 years. Long story short, that's just a real Cliff Notes summation of the movie. Now, my whole thoughts on it is that this is not just an action film. This is a family movie because basically they're both two parents that are raising a family at the end of the day, and one thing you got to know about family movies, if you haven't realized it by now, is that their number one priority is to have fun and be cheesy and corny and goofy. You're going to hear dad jokes. You're going to hear, little quips that aren't that funny. You're going to hear puns from pop culture. A lot of things that you're going to look at and go, oh my gosh, this is not really that funny. And that's just how it is. That's family movies in a nutshell. That's TV shows in a nutshell. That's just how family entertainment is. When you're a parent, you don't really want your kids to be exposed to too much craziness, but you do not mind action and stuff from time to time. This movie had its fair share of action, had its fair share of fights and guns being shot and car chases and all types of stuff. And the action, to me, is pretty much what saved the film, because the story was pretty basic outside of the villain plot twist. They had you thinking that one guy was not the villain when he was the villain all along. And he even faked his death, which was pretty cool. And you find out at the end, he faked his death again. So I think that was really where the movie basically kept its fire moving, was the fact that it was an action family movie. So the fight scenes that Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz had is what was keeping me watching it, at least. Because if it was just like them going through the motions and saying corny jokes, I would have gave up on it a while back. There was an interesting fight scene where Glenn Close, who played Cameron Diaz's mother in the movie, and she was also one of the heads of the M16, right? MI6, excuse me. I don't know why I said M16. MI6. She was like one of the big dogs in MI6, and they respected her for it. But there was a scene in the movie where she had to fight some goons because the goons came into her crib, and she was cooking them. And that was a pretty good scene. And she was beating all of them up without making so much of noise until a gunshot went off and then changed the game. But she was doing some real solid snake fighting because she was beating people up without making a single sound. And I definitely liked that scene. That was one of my favorite fight scenes in the movie. Second favorite fight scene was definitely when they was at a gas station in London. And yes, this movie goes from America to London real fast. So they was at a gas station in London, and Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz was beating up some goons, and they double choke slammed the dude, which was incredible. They double choke slammed him, and then your man's like, just like, that was it. They just walked off. And in my mind, I posted this video on my social media, so you can see it on Nerds in the Hood's Instagram. Soon it's gonna be on TikTok once they get all their services restored, and hopefully I can get on YouTube without it getting taken down. When they double chokeslammed this dude, my first thought was like, this man should never be a hired goon for any crime boss ever. Because every goon gets beat up. But there's always that one goon in family films. No, not family films, excuse me. There's always that one goon in any type of action movie, any type of fighting movie that gets beat up really, really bad. Like embarrassingly bad. To the point where you look and go, you probably shouldn't do this anymore. This might not be the job for you. I think it would be a funny, I know they was doing commercials for Monster.com, the job searching engine. I know there was commercials where they were like, just like, you don't like your job, and they showed you doing a bad job at something, and then you were going online, or was that Indeed? Either way, they should do one where somebody's a goon, and they can't just beat up really bad, and then they just look and they start going online, and now they're like a clerk at a store or something. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, be that as it may. One thing I noticed that they did was they waited till way later in the movie to present Glenn Close as the mother. They kept talking about how Cameron Diaz's character, Emily, had a bad relationship with her mother, and she didn't want that to basically mirror her relationship with her daughter, her current daughter. So she did her best to try to make a better relationship with her daughter, but was failing at it because her daughter was like, she was a teenager. She's going through the teenage rebellious period. She was lying to them. She snuck into a club with a fake ID, was drinking. She was wilding. This kid was like 15 years old. So it was kind of crazy. But saying that to say that, when they presented Glenn Close as the mom later in the movie, it was a big reveal. That's what kept me hanging on. I was like, who is the mother? It got to be somebody famous. They're not just going to keep saying mom and it's just a random actress. So it had to be somebody famous. And at the end of the movie, they also say that she has to see her dad. Her dad also was not present in the movie, but they never said that he passed away. So assuming there is a sequel, the dad is probably going to be another big name actor. As to whom, I don't know. There's a lot of guesses that could be flown around, Michael Caine or somebody, since they were in London, but we never know. So that is what is in store for a sequel, because now they're going to ramp it up where it's like, who is the dad? It kind of reminded me of Daddy's Home. There was a movie, I don't know if you guys remember that movie with Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell. In the first movie, it was Mark Wahlberg versus Will Ferrell. And then by the end of the movie, it was revealed that like John Cena was like another character in the movie who was going to be like rivaling against Mark Wahlberg. And then in the sequel, you find out that Mel Gibson plays one dad and John Lithgow plays another dad. So now you have all of these celebrities and you kind of hype because that's what you want to see. Or even a better example, Sonic the Hedgehog. You always want to know who's the next voice. Who's going to be the next voice? Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was Idris Elba. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 it was Keanu Reeves. Now you see Amy Rose, who's the next voice. So it's kind of going off of that same trope, which I actually don't mind that. I like those type of movies that do that because then now it keeps you interested. It keeps you intrigued because they set up a cliffhanger ending with a surprise. So that's where I got to go. Andrew Scott playing a simpy MI6 agent was also not what I expected. It was not on my 2025 bingo card because he usually plays these like very deep characters. This wasn't really a D character. He just played a guy who they thought was the villain the whole time, and he never was. He was always on their side. It's just that he had a crush on Emily, and Emily wasn't feeling him like that. And he was mad about it. He was in his feelings, but he never fully crashed out. But because he was so in love with her, it allowed him to keep tabs on her so he can do the right thing and save their lives at the end of the day. So they also had comedic support. There was a character in there named Nigel, who was played, let's see here, Jamie Demetrio. I want to make sure I'm getting his name right. You might not have seen him in a lot of stuff. I know he was in Fleabag. I know he had like a little extra move in Fleabag. He's in Cruella, Paddington, stuff like that. So he is a funny guy. He did have funny moments, you know what I'm saying? Because he was supposed to play a guy that was he was in love with Emily's mom, which made for some weird kind of moments. And then at the same time, he was a spy in training, but he was very bad at it. He was supposed to be good, but he was a bumbling spy, you know what I mean? Which also played on that trope of like really bad spies, especially like the London ones or whatever. But that's okay. He was the comedic relief. He had his moments. They weren't the greatest moments, but they worked out when they needed to work out. But again, this is what people have to remember. Family films are normally supposed to be corny. They're supposed to be cheesy. I don't really know a lot of family films that wasn't that kind of way, that didn't move with those jokes where you're like, like this is supposed to happen. You're supposed to get the cringy jokes, the dad jokes, all that corny puns. So there's not much else to say. There was a lot of good in this movie mixed with the bad. But again, the action is what kept me watching. If they weren't fighting that good, if the choreography of the fights weren't that good, I probably wouldn't have kept watching. Because there was a good fight when they had the beginning of the movie. There was a good fight even when they went to the club and was fighting goons. So there was fights all throughout the movie. I can't even give a strong percentage, but majority of the movie had fight scenes, and the fight scenes were all pretty good. So be that as it may, with our patented Nerds in the Hood review system, you already know the vibes. I'm going to put them right here or here next to me. Most likely right here. I have more space here. But you'll see how these three are broken down. They'll pretty much define how I rate each movie. I don't use a star system or a number system. But basically, I felt like this movie, it's all right. It's all right. It's not like masterpiece. And it's not, trash to me. It's a movie that, like, if you got a family, this is a good movie to catch on a Saturday night. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going clubbing no more because you got the kids, you know what I'm saying? And you ain't trying to spend bread on one of these digital at-home releases. So you tell yourself, we ain't going to the movies to spend bread. We ain't going to get these video-on-demand joints. This is Netflix. We can catch this for free with the Netflix subscription, you know what I'm saying? So this is something that you grab with the family, or you just don't got nothing to do, you chilling. Y'all get some food and y'all just sit down and watch. That's how I felt about the movie. It was just a simple, last night I ain't had nothing to do. I was chilling all weekend, you know what I'm saying? I had to just time to myself, and I said, let me watch this movie. And it was aight. So if you want to see Jamie Foxx do his thing again, and it's good to see him back on a brighter note, because I saw his comedy special and you could tell that he was really ecstatic just about surviving all the stuff he went through. And Jamie Foxx is one of my favorite actors. He's one of my favorite comedians. So it was definitely good to see him in higher spirits doing this movie again. I think this is his third or fourth movie on Netflix, because I know he did the vampire joint. I know he had They Clone Tyrone, and I like those two. So it's good to see him back. It's good to see Cameron Diaz back. Those are two people in the 90s. Like, I loved both of them. I loved watching their movies and their work. So shout outs to them. Shout outs to Gun Close, living legend. You know what I mean? Doing their thing in this movie. It's aight. That's best I can say about this. So, as usual, you can go on the link tree that I'm going to post in the description to follow me and the Nerds in the Hood on all social media. We got it all there. TikTok is back, so you can go follow us there too. Keep subscribing, keep liking, share this. Write in the comments. Let me know how you felt about the movie. If you saw it, if it wasn't for you, we could talk about it. Your opinion is your opinion. No judgment here, okay? But in the meantime, between times, your boy Marv Lat, Nerds in the Hood. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.